Hello, it's your main man, the Pan Man. I am back again with part 2 of a small video series I'm running to promote my upcoming eGuide, the Game Music Remix series. Everything spoken about in this video and more can be found inside of that series, and if you're interested in it, consider signing up to the waitlist below. Upon its release, you will get a 50% discount just for you guys. Now, why should you start a remix series? Specifically, what does it get you in the long term? Now, again, if you're like a little bit more experienced, you got clients coming in, you got your own thing going, you probably don't need this. This is mainly for those that don't upload a lot to YouTube, don't do a lot of game music, but they want to do game music. It's just a good way to get started. It's just a good way to keep yourself stable and push yourself forward, because this is the big thing. It gives you a flagship product. This is really good if you don't have a lot of games under your belt, or if you have no games under your belt. Like, it gives you a consistent framework to work with. It gives you, if your remixes are unique enough, it can attract game developers. It can also help you build an audience faster because of that fact. Now, I want to clarify, when I say faster, I mean more consistent growth. There's no such thing as overnight success, as I'm sure you know already. When done correctly, your flagship product starts placing you inside of a gaming sphere. The more you ground yourself in that one area and establish yourself there, the easier it'll be to move from other areas over time. It can attract game developers. Well, how exactly does it do that? Simple. When the game developer is ready for music, of course, they're going to go looking for a game composer, right? Think about what happens before that. A game developer, he's working on his game. He wants some music in his game, but he's not ready to pay for anything. What's the first thing he's going to do? He's going to go to YouTube, find the song that he wants, and he's going to use that song as a placeholder to remind him of the, like, here's the style I want, here's the mood I want, here, etc., etc. So, imagine this scenario. He's looking for that music, and trying to find it, he discovers your remixes. With that, you'll be inside of that developer's head before he's even ready for music. And he'll remember that, oh, this guy did this. Maybe I can borrow some of his song, or maybe he can make a track similar to this song since he already knows the style I'm after. I also mentioned that it's just a good time passer. Let's say that you got a few game developer clients, but like you're in this drought. Like, what do you do when you're waiting? Like, you just mark it out on, you just cold call on Twitter to get more? Like, if that works for you, fine. I don't like it. But then again, I'm not a social media guy, but to each their own. My point is that it's a good time passer. It's more fun. It's more creative. It forces you to be more creative, actually. When you're doing a remix series, it's a set framework. And because it's a set framework, it installs limitations on you as a composer. Figuring out ways to work around those limitations, of course, has been proven to make people more creative. Because not every song is going to fit inside of whatever concept you come up with. And I talk about building your concept in a later video. Another slightly off thing, it gives you a more consistent uploading framework. Like, some composers, I've noticed, they had a hard time figuring out what to post, what content to make and stuff like that, and they started making other content that they really don't seem like they like. Like, for example, this guy, he really likes making like orchestral music, but he hates streaming. But he's forced himself to stream to help keep himself like relevant and confident, and you can hear in his voice that he just doesn't like it. Like, in content creation in general, having some form of consistency is very important. So not having that mental blockage, like, what am I going to write, or is this right, like, are people going to like it? Like, not having stuff like that gives you a better framework starting out. It gives you a better mental state of mind, better state of mind starting out, because you already know what you're going to be uploading, what you're going to be doing. Every content creator that you can think of, they have that one thing that at least put them on the map, that one flagship product. You need to build that as soon as possible. Right now, I'm not talking about going viral, but I'm saying having some main product at your disposal that you can market. Once you have that, you can use this product to direct to your other services, and you can use that as a stepping stone, essentially. You gotta build that first stepping stone first. In this video, I'm going to be highlighting some stories that talks about the points I mentioned before. The Mario Kart series was started completely on a whim, believe it or not. I was sitting in my room with a bunch of Mario Kart stuff on my computer. It was only like 3 or 4 songs at the time, and I just decided to upload them. Like that's it. Like I think it was the first like music one I made, I believe. It was only after I saw the positive feedback that I was encouraged to post more fan-made Mario Kart music. My goal was to switch between like original and retro. This is like like OG Pan Man. That was my goal, but I simply ran out of ideas for the original selection, so I just switched it to retro. As you would guess, the retro selections like surpassed my original compositions, which made sense. Regardless, that feedback loop was triggered, and I forgot where it was exactly, but I declared at some point that I would go up the generations remixing Mario Kart music. The exception to that was Mario Kart 8's Rainbow Road. If you want to know why I abstained from Mario Kart 8, that actually is a very important tidbit of this video, or of this entire video series, the crowning thing of remix series, in my opinion. So I'm going to talk about that in the next video, actually, so keep an eye for that. Because the goalpost was declared, every move I made, it was moving closer towards that. I had a consistent framework. I knew what I wanted to upload. Because I had a consistent framework, that exponentially increased my audience. It was very consistent, very smooth. Now, I touched on a few reasons why uploading primarily Mario Kart music was so effective, but that grounded me in the sphere. After about like 10 songs, I think it was, I already started hearing that my music was being featured in like mods. And again, a few factors contributed to this. The fact that I uploaded bulk, for example. I know I'm not doing that for my current series, but I recommend uploading bulk, like 4 or 5 videos at a time. Over time, this exponential growth got me to where I am right now. Like, seriously, if I knew what I knew now, I could have just made it even better than what it turned out. Now, let's go back to remix series attracting developers. I want to tell you the story of how I met Dogon, the creative lead for Fusion Fall Legacy. So, Dogon sent me an email, right? He only intended to use me for like a certain part of the game. I was only supposed to do like maybe 1, 2, maybe 4 songs at most. Before that email, I had never even heard of Fusion Fall. Like, I wasn't much of a PC gamer, but I did know Cartoon Network. Now, given that Mario Kart was my flagship product at the time, my first impression, why did he ask me? Like, the style was, it wasn't like different, but it was really out there from what I was like uploading. Like, I'm getting ahead of myself. I thought I'd be writing more Mario Kart music. I thought he needed a Mario Kart track for a song in the game. I was wrong. But as such, I was asked for a demo to prove that I can even write in that style before we did anything, which I could understand. I was skeptical too. Now, I already told the story back in part 1, so check that out. But what I'm highlighting here is that it eventually came up. He discovered me through my Mario Kart series, which I didn't put that together at the time. Like, again, if I'm making Mario Kart music, I assume most of the people coming to me, and this was happening until Dogon showed up, that most of the clients coming to me would want Mario Kart, right? But no, he asked me for something that was like a bit out of my style, and I was able to do it. It really opened my eyes to how developers are deciding what game composers that they want. You know what I mean? Like, it's not as simple as find someone that matches the style that you're after or that you're interested in. I had attracted Dogon, a developer, through my grounded niche, because we just so happened to share interest in the common game, and he found me. I dissect that in the eGuide, so again, if you're interested in the eGuide, sign up to the waitlist below, and you'll receive a discount when it gets released. Now, on that point about it just simply being more fun, like I want to expand upon that, because that leads me into the story of how I got into my royalty-free music stuff. Like, I know I mentioned multiple times that I got burnt out on Mario Kart, but during the time, it really was fun. It's more fun than cold calling developers, you know what I mean? When they're not ready for you half the time, and I'm just supposed to just keep tossing my hat in the ring and just keep waiting for it, that's boring. Let me get to the story about how I got into royalty-free music. I was looking for a way to increase my clients in means of getting more money. In this search, I discovered a music composer, which I will not name here. He was highlighting a method that is very common, but I haven't heard of at the time. But it made a lot of sense to me, and I decided to try it out. Basically, he would make a music pack, and a developer comes along. He gets that music pack for free, in exchange for his email address. So you're basically just building an email address using your music as a lead magnet to attract game developers to you. In addition to this list, you're also building music packs to sell on Game Dev Market, the Unity Asset Store, Unreal Market, itch.io, you get the idea. As music for those asset stores are getting built, you give them to the free developers. Very simple and straightforward, right? The purpose of this was to basically have them orbit you until they are ready for music. That's it. You would basically continue to give these developers free music, and eventually they'll come to you for music. Now, I want to be clear, there's a lot of perks to this. It's not bad, it just didn't work for me, because out of 400 plus developers that I have attracted there, none of them contacted me for the work I was waiting for. Like, there was like one or two here or there that said that they found me for my royalty free, but all of the other clients, they found me through my Mario Kart stuff. Like, what I'm trying to say here is, to compare that method to the remix series method of Mario Kart that I was doing, I wasn't really seeing that much. Now, like, selling my music on asset stores, that's a different story. Like, they pay for it and I got money directly that way. But as far as the email list portion of it, or getting clientele specifically, not much changed. So why exert the extra effort for something that I'm getting the same result for? Why not just improve the same result? Now, I didn't think that specifically at the time, but you see what I'm saying. Even though the model is very simple, it didn't mesh well with me for 3 reasons. Firstly, the music I was writing, it didn't have a lot of marketing potential. Like, it's easier to market game music because there's a game associated with it. There's something else associated. It's not just music for a game, but it's music from this game. That's easier to search. That's easier to market. I couldn't do much more with the royalty-free music outside of posting it in niche locations. I mean, sure, I was marketing on Twitter, but again, you get the idea. It doesn't have as much reach as doing music that's already known. So as a marketing potential, or at the very least to get people, to flag people down to you, it wasn't as effective. As such, the moment I stopped making royalty-free music, all the engagement, the sales, like anything associated with that just flopped. Versus the Mario Kart series, I did the same exact thing for the Mario Kart series as far as like not working on it, taking a break, finishing it, and even now I'm still getting even though I closed commissions, I'm still getting requests from people that have found me through my Mario Kart series. My second issue with this is that I wasn't attracting high quality clients. Now, what I mean by a high quality client is not someone with big pockets or anything like that. What I mean in my case is someone who actually releases the game. Like that's very important. And I know there's a few developers that are looking at me and thinking about their own games. I'm not trying to offend anyone, I'm really not. But I have to highlight from me, someone that does game asset creations, how important it is for that game to be live to the public, like to be actually active. Because that is where the bulk of our asset creators' marketing comes from. If the game doesn't get released, people don't know about it, right? If people don't know about it, they're less likely to hear your music in that game. It's like making music that literally goes nowhere outside of like you getting like 100 or something bucks from it. Now, I know this is controversial, but what I'm highlighting is for a marketing potential and for trying to grow as a asset creator, the actual final product needs to be released. And most of the clients I was getting, the projects dropped off for one reason or another. Again, I know shit happens. I'm not making fun of anyone. I swear. It just sucks for me, you know? Because I can't use any of that to leverage anything, to help grow my own business. I have to say that because that's why some game composers are being extremely anal about like being able to promote their music regardless of if you're around or not. Because they're trying to make sure that all their music is getting highlighted and that they don't appear that they're not working on anything. Again, I'm not trying to offend anyone. I'm just trying to highlight that I noticed this pattern, and as someone trying to grow their business, it was working against me. It has nothing to do with the people I work with or anything like that. I want to make that very clear. The combination of both these issues led to the third issue, which is my mental health. I felt like I was wasting my time doing this outside of like a few like 10 or maybe 30 bucks every so often. It became a drag to just work on royalty-free music. It wasn't so much about the money. I was after money, of course, but I knew that money was going to come from more clientele. I wasn't getting the clientele I wanted, so it felt more like a job until another job came on. it just wasn't fun. Again, with the knowledge I have now, I could have just revamped the Mario Kart series. I could have started another series with the Mario IP. I could have restarted Mario Kart with the new instruments and techniques and tools that I have now. I could have started another remix series then instead of waiting to do it now with my Sonic Battle. Any of these methods would have been much more fulfilling for just general RRI than the email list and royalty-free music. Another thing I noticed, once I took away the free music, over half of those 400 developers left. I'm down to 120, I believe, as far as how many people are on my list right now. And I appreciate that if you happen to be watching. I highlight that to say that when you're doing free music or just free content in general without anything behind it, you're attracting a lot of lingering fans, and I talk about that in the eGuide as well. Starting a game remix project has a lot of benefits. It's also flexible enough to serve your purposes, whether that's attracting game developers or expanding, building up your audience more, or just making your mark in the game community, or just trying to improve as a game composer. Again, I talk about all of this and more inside of my remix series eGuide, so if you're interested, sign up to the waitlist below in the description, and you'll get notified when it's released. As an email supporter, you will also get a limited time discount just for you guys. In the next part of this video, I take a opposite approach of part 1. Part 1 talks about how to improve your remixes, while part 3 goes over why your remixes may not be doing so well right now. If you have any questions or curious about what other eGuides I'll be making, consider supporting me on the Discord. It is free to join, but I do offer a lifetime 50% and even 100% off for backers. That's all of my digital products, all my eGuides and all my royalty-free music, plus any other digital product that I might create in the future. See you in the next video.